Thank you. Then upon him opening the room, what did you do?
Upon him opening the room,
Yes.
he said, "Oh, this is where you sit, you stay." He said, "Yes." "Can we please search your room?" Then he said, "Yes, you can search." Because he was very cooperative.
Uma sesivukela ke sibuza ukuthi yila uhlala khona, yebo yila uhlala khona, singasesha yini, wavuma ke wathi yebo. Umuntu nje ongazange anikeze ngayinkinga nje owayesebenzisana.
Yes. Then gave you the alleged permission, and then what did you do?
Then we started to check. And one of my guys, because they were Yamini, check on top, and then he noticed the firearm lying there.
Sasa sibheka ke omunye ke walabo engisebenza nabo ke uConstable Dlamini wabuka noma wabheka ke phezulu wasibona ke isibhamu khona lapho.
Thank you. That is now at the point at which the alleged firearm was found.
That's a stage where the firearm is not found.
Leso sikhathi ke isibhamu esatholakala ngaso.
Then immediately after the firearm was found, you then requested the user to go fetch this forensic exhibit bag so that you can put all the exhibits which you found into these exhibit bags.
That is correct.
La sengicela khona kuwiso ukuthi ahambe ke ayolanda ke isikhwama sokufakaza emotweni sofaka lokho ke esakuthola noma kwatholakala.
And then you further asked the accused whether he's got a license to possess the firearm, and what was his response?
No, he didn't produce the license.
Uma ke simbuza noma ngimbuza ke ngelicense yaso isibhamu akazange ayikhiphe.
Did he have any response?
No, the response was just that because when I was further questioning him about the firearm, he came with it from KZN Homeland, and obviously the firearm was filed off the serial number, and then no license to possess it. Yes, he acknowledged that it's his firearm, because he actually wanted to place both of them with the girlfriend in possession of the firearm.
Okwenzeka ke uma simbuza ke noma ngimbuza ngaso ke isibhamu leso okoqala wavuma ke noma washo ukuthi isibhamu awabuya naso ke ekhaya eKZN washo ukuthi isibhamu sakhe ke kodwa ke ilicense ke noma ingekho yona ke futhi ke inhloso ke noma isifiso kwaku ukuba bethwesa icala bobabili ke yena ke kanye nosisi loyo ayehamba naye ngokutholakala nesibhamu ongekho emthethweni.
Thank you. And then subsequently you then arrested him. And then you said on the basis of what you found at this place without a license, and also for possession of ammunition without a license.
We arrested him for Alexander matter, and then on top, and then we found this firearm. We had him as well on the possession.
Okoqala ke wayeboshelwa sambophela ke icala lase Alexander. Sase sengeza ke lokhu esikutholile isibhamu lesi kanye futhi nezinhlamvu ngaphezulu kwalelo icala lase Alexander esasimbophela lona.
Then you took him to Germiston police station where he was detained.
Yes, he was detained in Germiston police station.
Waseyovalelwa ke eGermiston police station.
And then investigation with regard to the firearm kicked off.
That is correct.
La seliqala ke uphenyo mayelana nesibhamu.
That is, in essence, what happened at the point, the time, and the date at which accused number 3 got arrested for having been allegedly found in possession of the firearm that you've testified about, not so?
Can you rephrase, please? Can you rephrase for me?
I am saying,
Yes.
in essence, that is exactly what happened at the point in time and place where accused number 3 got arrested by yourself, Dlamini, and Wiso for allegedly being in possession of a firearm that was found at the place that he was occupying, not so?
That is correct. But even if we didn't find him with a firearm, we were arresting him for Alexander case.
Empeleni yilokho ke okwenzeka ke lapha atholakala khona ke noma la sesimbopha khona ke tholakala nesibhamu noma kwakuwukuthi samthola ke isibhamu leso engenaso noma ngekho isibhamu kuyena ke ukumbopha vele sasizombopha sizombophela icala lase Alexander.
Thank you. We about the firearm. Let's not try to conflate issues. We're dealing here with the First Lawrence case. We don't know what happened in the Alexander case. We're here to speak about the firearm. Do you understand? Thank you. So that is exactly my point. All that we have testified about now, that is exactly what happened there.
That is correct, my lord.
Let's quickly touch base on the following aspects. We did not have a warrant of search, not so? When you conducted the search?
Well, we dealt with that. We didn't have a warrant of search. We are not there to search. We didn't even know where he stays. That's the reason we had to follow him to see where he stays. Because we were just looking for him.
Ukuthi nje sasingenayo ke incwadi ke esigunyazisayo ukuthi sisesheke lokho bese siphumileke ngakho ke sasingayelanga ukuyosesha lapha yana sasingamazi nokumazi ukuthi uhlala kuphi nendawo ingakho ke samlandela ngoba thina sasifuna yena noma sasibhekana naye.
Do you understand you well when you say, you're speaking a bit faster. Some of the things that you say, you're speaking a bit faster, at some point you're speaking a little bit low, so I can't hear you properly. So it's the reason why I'll keep on repeating unless you decide to increase your volume. That's the reason why I'll keep on repeating that. Do I hear you well when you say this? Because I've got a problem, a bit of a problem with somebody that's talking soft, you understand?
Okay.
Do you mind to repeat what you just said now, but now in a higher pitch? In an increased volume.
Can you repeat your question? I can't remember what I said.
You can't remember what you said?
Yes.
Yes. Do you agree with me that you did not have a warrant of search?
That is correct. I do agree with you.
Ngiyavumelana ke nawe uma uthi sasingenayo ke incwadi esigunyazisa ukuthi siseshe.
Then you went on to speak about the whole lot of things. That is what I wanted to hear.
No, I was just explaining that we dealt with that on the other matter concerning the search and seizure of the firearm.
Abengikusho ukuthi kwelinye ke leliyana icala lokho ke besase sidingidileke lolo udabulelo mayela ke nokusesha noma iwarrant ke kanye nesibhamu.
I've just mentioned to you that let us not conflate issues. What happened in that other trial has got nothing to do with what is happening in this trial. You are telling this court, this trial, that when you searched him, you did not have a warrant of search, not so?
It's so.
Thank you.
Ngiyasho ke futhi ukuthi ngangenayo ke incwadi engivumelana noma engigunyazisa ukuthi ngimseshe.
That is now both when you searched him in the streets and also when you searched in the room where you say the room that he pointed out to you, not so?
That is correct.
Ngalesikhathi ngimseshela ngaphandle nangalesikhathi sengisesha ke erumini la ahlala khona.
And did I hear you well when you said yes? Whatever that you said though, all that you said is what transpired at the time at which you accosted him up until the point where you took him away and locked him up at Jamestown, not so?
That is correct.
Futhi ke konke lokho ngokushilo lokho kwenzeka nkathi ke simfica simsesha kwazi kwayisikhathi la eseyovalelwa khona ke eJamestown.
Would you agree with me, sir, that in your speech, in your testimony, I'm sorry, not speech, in your testimony, there's no way where you mentioned that at a particular point, we stood back and said, accused person, these are your rights. As we are doing this, never explain his rights as a suspect and as a person that gets detained or that you're suspecting.
His rights were explained fully when he understood. It might happen that during the testimony it was not asked.
Amalungelo akheke ngokomthetho sisekelo kokwanake wawachazelwa ke ngokuphelele wase uyawezwa ke ungenzeka ke ukuthi nkathi ke ngibuzwa ke imibuzo yena kumshushisi lokho akwakubuzanga.
Do you agree with me that as you proffered your testimony under oath there's nothing that you said with regard to the rights that are rising up here?
Well, if I may explain, I introduced ourselves.
Say.
As a police officer, when you introduce yourself.
No, let the witness give evidence. You have asked the question. When he answers, you're preventing him from doing that.
My question, sir, is do you agree with me? It's either yes, I agree with you, or no, I don't agree with you. If you need to explain, I'm going to request you and say, can you please explain this? But now the question that I'm asking you is, do you agree with me that you did not tell...
Responding on the leading questions.
Ngiyavuma ke uma uthi kubufakazi bami ke angiyitshelanga lenkantolo ke ukuthi ngamchazela amalungelo kodwa ke bengiphendula ke kumibuzo ebengiyiphendula noma ebengiholwa kuyona.
Thank you. Before I forget these other points, the firearm, you said the numbers were filed off.
That is correct.
There's a process known as etching process. Do you know that process?
Very well, I know it.
Did you, at any point after recovery of or after finding this firearm, ever try to employ that process?
It goes together with the request. When you send a firearm to ballistic, it will come out with everything, even those that we didn't know about, especially a serial number that is filed off. It sometimes get picked up from the forensic.
Uma ngabe senza ke isicelo noma isibhamu sithunyelwa ke bona ke laba ama ballistic noma basebenza ngokuphenya ibhamu konke ke bathola konke nalokho ke futhi ke ebengachaziwe ke kanye futhi ke nayo indaba noma udaba lo serial number.
What do you understand by the etching process? What is it specifically used for?
The etching process?
Yeah, the etching. I don't know whether it's called etching or etching.
I know it by etching.
Oh, etching.
Yeah, they put the firearms somewhere to refill or to extract the serial number if it's been filed off.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Le nqubo kongibuza ngayo ke ila khona ke isibhamu bakwazi ukuthi batholeke uma kuukuthi serial number ecishekileke bayithole bona noma bayibone.
So you just said that the firearm was referred to the forensic science laboratory and probably it could have been etched there. Did the originality of the numbers that were filed off come back through that process, or they were unable to retrieve that number?
If I remember well, they were able to retrieve that number.
Uma kuukuthi ngikhumbula kahle ke leyo number leyo bayithola.
You need to be very certain. You need to be
I
very
am certain they got the number.
Naso ke siqinisa ukuthi number leyo bayithola le number leyo kokuthola ukuthi yayi iba kuyinumber eqinyiwe ke.
Thank you. And having retrieved that number, did you trace it to a particular person?
That is correct, my lord.
Emuva kokuthi leyo number isitholiwe noma yatholakala ke yebo yakhona ukuthi ibe itracewa ke noma ehlanganiswa ke nomuntu othize.
Thank you. With regard to this very last point, did you pen any statement with regard to this information?
Which information?
Did you give an additional statement with regard to this information that actually came off or came from the etching process?
Well, I wouldn't remember, but because I was busy with a lot of cases, I might have been putting it somewhere, but for me, it was not that necessary.
Ngoba ukuthi ke ngisebenza ngamacala amaningi ke mhlambe ke yebo ngasibeka endaweni ethize kodwa ke mina ngabona ukuthi isidingo singekho ukuthi ngibe nestatement engisenzayo ke mayela kanye nalolo daba lolo.
However, I did follow up on the ownership of the firearm, and it came up to be of a juristic person. It was a fidelity card from Procedural company.
Yes.
Kodwa ke ngalandelela ke uma leyo number isitholakala ke ukuthi kwakubani ke umnikazi ke futhi ke tusebenzela nje ifidelity eCenturion.
Thank you. Now, furthermore, I see on the covering letter here, there is exhibit X3 in paragraph 4. You requested the Forensic Science Laboratory to determine whether the firearm was involved in any other cases, not so?
That is correct, my lord.
Yebo kwakuyisicelo sami ke ukuthi babhekeke ukuthi isibhamu leso sasimbandakanyeka yini kwamanye amaqala.
Now this case, this phosphorus case, this court has heard that it happened on the 26th of October 2014. 26th October 2014, not so?
That is correct.
Yebo kuqiniseka ukuthi leli cala liphambi kwenkantolo ke lona la nge-26 October 2014.
Now you are arresting accused number 3 on the 9th of February 2015, not so?
That is correct.
Mina ke ngambopha nge-9 kaFebruary 2015.
And common sense will tell us that the date on which you are arresting him, you allegedly find in his possession this firearm, it was almost more than 3 months after the phosphorus incident had happened, not so?
That is correct.
Futhi ke kusemuva ke kwezinyanga ezintathu senzeke isigameko sasephosphorus kathi mina ngimbamba nge-9 noma ngimbopha nge-9 kaFebruary 2015.
Now, and common sense will tell you that if there were any exhibits that were found at the phosphorus case, and this court has said that some firearm was used, those exhibits must have been at the Forensic Science Laboratory already, not so?
So,
Nokuthi ke uma kuukuthi kukhona okwatholakala ephosphorus ngo-26 October 2014 ukuthi lokho ke kwakusekundlulise kuvele khona elab yamaphoyisa.
Now, when you receive this report, the basis of which is stated in paragraph number 4 of exhibit X3, did this firearm that was found in the possession of the accused person had anything to do with this phosphorus case?
You want him to answer that question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
my lord, there's nothing depicted by the firearm. that was recovered on this case. Should it have been, definitely I think I was going to deal with it at that time. Like others.
What you saying? Nothing.
Nothing. Yes,
Okay.
nothing.
Akukho ke kulesibhamu esatholakala ke kuyena ke ngalezi ayi-9 zika February 2015 ekwakuhlanganisa ke naleli ke icala leli. Uma ukuthi kwakukhona ke ngabe ke ngakubheka ke noma ngakunaka lokho.
Thank you. That is the reason why, my lord, I actually wanted this witness to answer that question. Thank you. Going back to the scene where you arrested the accused, not that the scene at forced arrest. No. Where you arrested the accused. Now you get in there, you search, you found a firearm. Did you ask him, who did he occupy that house with? Or that room? It's a room.
Tiny room. I think it was a 3/4 bed, if not single.
Aye, fellow, don't describe the
No, I'm
content,
just
the
describing
furniture
the room.
there. Oh, yeah,
The smallest of the
yes, it's a room. Yeah, but the question is, did you ask him, who did he occupy that room with?
That's correct, my lord. I did ask him.
Yebo ngambuza ukuthi kulelo kamera lelo ke noma kulelo room uhlala nobani.
Yes. What did he say?
Obviously, we got him with his girlfriend. They were staying together.
Samthola ke vele ehamba ke nosisi kahle kusona naye babehlala ndawonye.
You say, obviously.
I
Is
asked
that
him,
not a supposition when you say obviously? The question
Common
is very
cause.
specific. Did you ask him and what his answer was?
that I'm staying with my girlfriend.
Ngambuza washo ukuthi ngihlala nentombi yami. Angizange ngibuze ukuthi kwakusenesikhathi esingakanani ehlala naye ke usisi loyo.
Thank you, sir. Did I hear you well when you say that in one of the things that he told you about this firearm is that he brought it from the homelands from KwaZulu-Natal?
That is correct.
Yebo ngizwe kahle ke ukuthi ngathi inkathi ngimbuza ke wathi isibhamu leso wasithola emakhaya eKZN.
Did you ask him when did he got hold of the firearm from KZN?
No, I didn't ask him.
Ukuthi ninike angizange ngimbuze.
Thank you. Did you ask him how long did he occupy that room? For how long? That is from the day on which you found him, pointed that room to you. How long has he been occupying it?
I can't remember whether did I ask him.
Ukuthi ngambuza ukuthi kwayisenesikhathi esingakanani ke ekulelo room lelo angikhumbuli ke ukuthi ngambuza yena.
Let's move a bit away from the room. The firearm. Did you investigate this firearm for possible fingerprints on it?
No, for fingerprints, no.
Ama uphenyo ke lama fingerprints kusona isibhamu cha azange ngilwenze.
Did you investigate the blue container? Did you say blue or green? You know me and the colors. Blue. Yes.
Blue.
Did you investigate this blue container for any possible fingerprints?
No.
Nebhokisi leli ke eliblue nalo ke akuzange kwenze uphenyo lama fingerprints kulona.
Did you investigate the magazine? Now, it's 3 items for any possible fingerprints.
No.
Nayo ke magazine nayo uphenyo lama fingerprints alizange lwenziwe.
Thank you. And you say the person who physically found the firearm on top of the wardrobe was Dlamini, not yourself, not so?
No, it was not me. I mean,
Azange sithole mina phezu kwe-wardrobe sathola uDlamini.
Okay, no, this one I'll take it up with Mr. Dlamini, don't worry. I'm just checking on something while I'm taking the course in urgent. There's a link that I need here. Thank you. You know, because accused, person will come and tell this court if they need a rise, of course. That indeed, on the 9th, you found him walking in the street with his girlfriend. When they were just about to get into the gate, then you are putting, I'm starting to put, I don't want to
I'm
respond, I
listening.
don't have any response.
yes, I don't have.
You don't have
Kuloko
any
ukuthi
response.
ke
Thank you.
impela ke uzosho ke uma sekuyena uzofakaza ukuthi impela wayehambele estradini naye ke usisi loyo sase simisa ke anginako ke ngakusho kuloko.
Thank you. Now, as I'm saying, if needs arise, he'll tell this court that, as we have correctly mentioned, that he was very cooperative. He indeed had no choice but to cooperate with you because you're spitting venom.
Uthi ke umsolwa ke kwakungekho nje okunye ayengakwenza ke ngaphandle kokuthi asebenzisane nawe ke ngoba ke
The new thing.
kanjani ukuthi ngicasuke ngane nabo umuntu nje onganikezi ngayinkinga.
Thank you. Now, as a result of the fact that you're spitting venom in order to secure or to save himself from the wrath that he would have encountered, he said things that you wanted him to say.
Uyaqhubeka ke uthi ngenxa ke yokuthi yena ke wayekuthi nje wayeyisindisa ke kuloko kuthukuthela ke wasesho izinto wena ke owawufuna noma ufisa ukuzizwa.
It's up to him, but I believe what he was telling me because we were just talking. We were not fighting. No one was spitting venom. We were talking.
Kukuyena ke lokho kodwa ke mina ke ngayikholwa ke noma ngakholwa ke lokho wayekusho ngoba ke kwakungaliwa ke lapha yana sasikhuluma nje akekho umuntu wayecasukile.
Thank you. He will further come and tell this court if the need arises that you did not even give him a chance to explain his side of the story with regard to the firearm that you allegedly found on top of the wardrobe. Oh, thank you. Is it please the court, my lord? I'm requesting indulgence. Thank you for the indulgence, my lord. Thank you, sir. Accused person, if needs be, will come and tell this court that he brought the firearm from his homeland, from KwaZulu-Natal.
Well, it will be okay with him, but whatever information I give is the information I get from him.
Uma kuwukuthi yena ke uyaphikisa ukuthi wangitshela ukuthi isibhamu wabuye nasemakhaya kodwa ke mina engikushoyo ke yiloko engakutshelwa uyena noma engathola kuyena.
Thank you, man. Just one more last indulgence, my lord, with the accused. Thank you. Thank you very much, my lord, for the second indulgence. Same accused person would come and tell this court that although you are alleging that the firearm was found firearm,
So ke uthi noma ke wena usho ke ukuthi ke isibhamu lesi satholakala kulela room awehlala khona ke nentombi yakhe ke uthi yena kwangena lutho nje omhlanganisa nalesi yasibhamu.
Well, it's a pity that you said we must concentrate on the firearm and the Cleveland. Alexander Meta connects him.
I have just said,
Yes.
accused person says he had nothing to
Qala lela se Alexander ke liyamhlanganisa umeli usethi ke lo yena ke uthi akunalutho omhlanganisa nalesi yasibhamu mayela ke neqala leli lase Phosphorus.
No, I hear you.
Ngiyakuzwa.
Thank you, my lord. My lord, just one point of that I need to bring to the attention of the court. This witness, it said something, it's a pity, and then he mentioned the Alexander case. I'm going to request, my lord, that that piece of information, if it clicked in the mind of the court, then it should be expunged of the record on the basis of it not being relevant to these proceedings.
Mr. Malui, let me hear your learned colleague.
Well, he elicited the information. That's he made his bed, so he must lie on it. That's how that all works.
Ngiyafisa ukuthi uzwe lokushoyo mfethu umeli wakho uyacela ukuthi lokho kushiwo ufakazi ekhuluma ke ngecala lase Alexander ukuthi inkantolo ke ingakunaki ke kushaya indiva lokho yasitikeza uadvocate Baloyi ithuba lokuthi aphendule lokho uthi uadvocate Baloyi ngeshwa ke umeli wakho uyena ke okhiphe noma odonsela ubufakazi noma umbuzo wakhe wona ke eholele kuthini kulethwe leyo mpendulo leyo.
That is a very unfortunate response from a colleague that I hold so in such high esteem, Smart. He knows from the solitude of his conscience that Alexander case is irrelevant here. So it has got nothing to do with this First Lawrence case, my lord. As I'm saying, it's very unfortunate when it comes from a member of this aura, of this forum that I hold so dearly and so very high. Nonetheless, my lord, that will be the end of my cross-examination to this witness. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Nkosi. Thank you.
Yeah, this court doesn't expunge evidence. Okay.
I'm
just
addressing it if the
evidence.
time comes for me to deal with
Yes,
that
yes,
matter, my lord. Thank you very much.
Remember, I asked you, do you want him to answer that question? Remember, I asked you a question when you asked the question. Do you want him to answer that question? You remember?
No, my lord.
Oh, you don't? Okay, fine.
When I
Your
asked
colleagues
this
remember
one,
that. Do you remember, colleagues? Thank you.
Emkhumbuza ujaji mfethu kummeli wakho ukuthi loyo mbuzo loyo ngaphambi kokuthi awubuze bekuyisifiso sakhe yini sokuthi uphendulwe.
My lord, he's saying in reference to this last aspect incorrect. So I withdraw my consensus.
Now I've made my point. Sir, tell me about this Alexander case. I don't want to know the particulars. Did you have a warrant of arrest for the suspects?
On Alexander case?
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
You did not have? You never applied for a warrant of arrest?
We didn't. There was no need for us.
Uthi asange sasingenayo warrant of arrest sasingekho isidingo sokuthi senze isicelo sayo ke.
How many people are involved in that case?
The Alexander one? There were 3.
Oh, there were 3, okay.
Babe bathathu ke abasola kulelo qala lelo lase Alexander.
Yeah, I heard you and your colleague talking about the etching process. Do you know the physical science behind that? I know. I don't know if you know.
The physical science? I don't know, my lord, but what happens is when they come with what we were looking for, we get happy.
Yeah, that's what you call atomic configuration.
Yes.
Atomic configuration. Number right up to the bottom. The atomic structure is duplicated.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, so if you come from Soweto, you think you actually find the original number.
That is correct, madam.
As it was. Is that not so?
That is correct.
Okay.
Siyajula ke ujaji membuza ukuthi uyazi ukuthi yini eyenzekayo ke uma sekubefuna ukuthi batholeke inamba le engasabonakalekisilo number ukuthi yini ke abayenzayo ngoba yena kuthe uma ephendula nje uma nje uthole lokho okufunayo ke wena bekungabonakali ukuthi kwenziwani ke angikwazi kodwa nje uyanema uma uthola lokho okufunayo.
Okay, thanks. You're excused. Unless your colleagues.
Thank you, Madam. I have no
You don't
cross-examination
have
to this witness.
Mr.
Thank
Mshalos?
My lord, before I start with my cross-examination, can I ask that we adjourn and then I start with my cross-examination after lunch? There are instructions that I need to consult with regarding the
Okay.
cross-examination.
What time is it, Mr. Baloyi?
It's quarter to minutes. It's quarter to.
Okay. Come back what time?
I think 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Since the Christmas.
Okay,
enough
fine.
time to.
2 o'clock then?
It is
Examination as a court please,
Baroi?
my lord. In cross-examination by Advocate Nisi on behalf of accused number 3, you testify that you did explain the accused rights to him.
That is correct.
ngishilo ke ku advocate umnisi ukuthi ngempela ke ngamtshela amalungelo akhe ngomthethosisekelo.
At which stage did you do that?
The time I was approaching him, trying to introduce myself, explaining that I'm arresting him for.
I actually thought about this aspect that it will come in re-exam. Then I said, I'm going to object to this because that will be introduction of new evidence from the back door, my lord. The state had their opportunity, while specifically leading this witness in evidence in chief to lead this form of an evidence. Because what is happening now, my lord, is going to necessitate a re-cross-examination. On the face of it, it may look like it's a re-exam, my lord. But this is reintroduction. It's basically an introduction of new evidence on the auspices of re-exam, but from the back door.
I see.
Exactly, my lord.
Mr.
Thank you.
Mshololo seems to disagree.
No, I agree, my lord.
How's it?
I agree, my lord. It's unprocedural because the witness never testified to what he wants to introduce.
I see.
It's a new evidence.
Mr. Ngumalo?
I'm sorry to interject, my lord. And basically, this is exactly the kind of a bait that has been made where a person needs to lie on. Thank you, my lords.
Ms. Ngumalo, what's your view?
It is new evidence.
Hello?
It is new evidence. It was never
Mr.
introduced
Perez?
earlier.
Ramsepelia.
Yes. I concur with my colleagues. I sympathize
Mr. Baloi, what's your view?
As a court please, my lord, the witness did testify that they introduced themselves to the suspect, who he did not elaborate as to what he means by introducing themselves to the suspect, and in cross-examination he then elaborated. We submit, my lord, that the witness has already, this evidence had already been foreshadowed in his evidence in chief. He merely elaborated on that when he was cross-examined. We submit, my lord, that the questions is permissible.
I'm still going to quote the 1928 case. What does it say, Mr. Nis?
My lord?
What does that case of 1928 say?
Hepworth.
Yes, Hepworth, R versus Hepworth.
My lord, R versus Hepworth was
Ngumalo is smiling. On that very aspect, what does it say, that case?
My lord, it will be understood. I think I need to dissect Hepworth.
No.
Understand, my lord, that
is
Hepworth
there.
was decided.
Where's that quotation? Mr. Baloi, please. A judge of this division in 1928
Yes, my lord.
commented about this type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, boy.
But the court must also bear in mind that this is a pre-constitutional decision, my lord, where the rights
It's
of an
worse
accused
in
person...
our constitutional decision.
Excuse me, my lord.
It's worse.
Excuse me.
It's worse to take advantage of a mistake which is committed by your colleague. Wait,
This is...
Mr. Baloi.
Yes, my lord.
As a court please, my lord, must I read that?
Yeah, the second part. We can start at the. Yeah, just read it slowly so that we all can digest it.
Right. Once again, this is a decision of the Appellate Division as it then was, R versus Hepworth, 1928, page 267 at 277. And this case, my lord, is all about fairness and and in particular, Section 35(3) of the Constitution that my learned friend has referred to. So it is in fact applicable to Section 35(3) of the Constitution.
I will just read it.
Yes. The court held that a criminal trial is not a game where one side is entitled to claim the benefit of any omission or mistake made by the other side.
Right, you can leave it there.
Yes.
What do you think, Mr. Munisi?
As it please the court.
The benefit of any omission or mistake by another side.
Yes, my lord.
You mustn't benefit from that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not against the decision, my lord, but then again, the court would recall that in the course of my cross-examination of this very same witness, something came out which was not intended for this trial.
Nah, that's different. You wanted me to expunge the record.
Yes, my lord, because it is...
record. And I'm saying to you, there's no law which says I can expand the record.
I could have used the wrong terminology.
What? This is so.
I should have said maybe the court should actually ignore.
I can't even ignore it. It's there.
That is exactly.
You can argue.
Yes.
Fine.
That is exactly the same approach, my lord.
Yes.
The fact that the state was expected to lead particular evidence at a particular point,
right,
and then they omitted, or they realized that that might not be good for the cause that they want to take in the course of proving their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes. Then they want to reintroduce new evidence. That is also prejudicial to the cause of the accused person, my lord. Because as I've said initially, that would be cross-examined on that particular new aspect.
There's no problem, you can do that again. Unfortunately, that case binds me.
As it pleases the court.
Binds me. It's an AD case. It says one shouldn't take advantage of a mistake or a benefit. Okay?
As it pleases the court.
Let your colleague continue, and then if you think you want to follow
my lord, just one more. However, we have not heard from the state whether this portion of evidence was omitted by mistake or what.
What do you think?
No, I can't speculate, my lord. But it has not been placed on record. Why that crucial evidence, my lord? Remember, it's on the issue of the constitutional rights which were not explained. It was crucial on the part of the state. Now the state that is given an opportunity to rectify that without stating the reasons why that should happen. It's unprocedural, my lord. That's my submission.
Okay, you've heard my ruling. You can continue.
As a court, please, my lord.
And you know what?
Yes.
It's such a minor aspect because Mr. Nisi says this case has got nothing to do with the Procedural case.
Yes.
That's your submission.
The Alexander case.
Alexander case or the Procedural case. Or the Cleveland case. When you stood up, when you made objection, I was listening to you. You said this case, this evidence has got nothing to do with the Cleveland case. You remember? Yes, before you mentioned Alexander. Uncle from Minapuri.
As it pleases the court.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Court, please. At which point did you explain his rights to him?
The time we were approaching him, introducing ourselves to him, explaining him that we are charging for, we were looking for him for the Alexander matter. He explained his rights fully and he understood.
Ngabesikhathi ke siya kuyena umsola sichaza kuyena simazisa ukuthi ke simfunela icala leli lase Alexander ila khona ke amalungelo akhe ngomthetho sisekelo namchazela ngokuphelele wawezwa futhi.
Yes, what was the extent of that explanation?
What I can say, after explaining those rights, he took us to his room.
Yes, but what did you say? What did you explain to him?
His rights to remain silent, his right to have a legal representation. If he doesn't have one, the state will help him with. His right to be detained and taken to court within 48 hours.
Lamalungelo ke phakathi ke ilungelo lakho lokuthula angasho lutho, ilungelo loba nommeli uma kuwukuthi ummeli akanaye umbuso uzomsiza, ilungelo lokuthi ke uzothathwa ke noma ke uzoyovalelwa ke bese ukuthi kwisikhathi ke samahora awu48 bese uyovela enkantolo.
In which language did you communicate with him?
We were communicating in isiZulu because I'm a Zulu.
Mina naye ke sasikhuluma isiZulu ngoba ngiwumZulu.
Did he understand his rights?
Yes, my lord, he understood.
Futhi ke wawezwa ke lawo malungelo uma ngichazela.
Now, were you able to establish, you mentioned that the accused pointed out a room amongst others. Were you able to establish who the landlord of that place was?
No, I didn't establish.
Ukuthi ke wayeqashe kubani ke lapho ehlala khona ke cha angizange ngikuthole lokho.
And in cross-examination by accused number 3 counsel, you did mention that it's Sergeant Dlamini who found the firearm. Where the firearm was found, was it easily visible?
The firearm was easily visible. If you just peep on the wardrobe, you will just see the firearm lying there.
La esasikhona ke noma esathola khona uDlamini isibhamu sasibonakala nje kalulu awuthi nje uma uphopola khona lapho usibona.
Now, in cross-examination by accused number 3 counsel, he asked you that you could not, after having been unable to locate him at the initial place, you then went to look for him. Now, how far is that initial place where you went to look for him to his room?
It can be more or less 5 kilometers.
Ngathi nje ibanga la esaqala sayomfuna khona qala ke nala ahlala khona ama kilometer awu5.
Also, in cross-examination by accused number 3's counsel, you testify when he asks you as to whether the ownership of the specific firearm was traced to a specific person, you answer that the ownership of the firearm was established as belonging to a person who worked for Fidelity at Centurion.
I said it was honored by the juristic person. Juristic person, yes. Fidelity Card Company.
Oh yes, thank you. Sorry.
Mayelana nesibhamu ke lesi esatholakala uma ummeli ebebuza ke umbuzo ukuthi sakhona yini ukuthi sithole ukuthi ubani umnikazi wazo ngishilo ukuthi